What's up, guys? Welcome to the JohnCast. I'm super excited to be here again with Austin Marler.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody?
It's super cool to be here the week after the Super Bowl. We're going to cover that, talk about a couple takeaways from the Super Bowl, as well as the NBA trade deadline that came recently and what we think about some of the moves that happened there. But first, I want to start with the Super Bowl. Austin?
Patty Mahomes was not existent really
until
the end of the game, but he made it. He made a good appearance at the end of the game.
He did. The fourth quarter was incredible.
Oh, amazing fourth quarter. But I'm not gonna lie to you. At the beginning of the game, the guy didn't look good. Didn't look like he was in rhythm. Very rattled. I would say nerves got to both teams. Honestly,
the 49ers defense has been great all year.
Immaculate. Number two.
In
passing
the first
defense.
In the first half, they had it still. I'm pretty sure they held the Chiefs to 10 points, right? And 10 points, I believe, tied the Chiefs for the least amount of points they've scored in a half all season.
That's impressive. That's very impressive.
The Chiefs, I mean, they're a high-powered offense with a high-powered quarterback.
Yeah, no, I think the 49ers did a very good job, though, all game of kind of holding that passing game. You know who actually I think, and personally this is my belief, I think Richard Sherman actually hurt them in that game. Richard Sherman was targeted. The man he was guarding, right, was targeted 5 times. You want to know how many times that targeted receiver caught the ball?
How many?
5 times. Richard Sherman did not stop a pass that entire game.
That was on Sammy Watkins.
Sammy Watkins,
right?
Who decided to show up. Where's
Sammy
he
Watkins
been all
played,
season?
Man.
Dude, that guy went off, and it was the right game to go off, and he covered Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
That to me, between Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins, and Tyreek Hill, covered Patrick Mahomes' mistakes in the first 3 quarters.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, and even just on Jimmy G's end in the fourth, he was 3 of 11, 36 yards with 1 interception. I mean, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough for a fourth quarter Super Bowl performance.
Well, and he's supposed to be one of the better quarterbacks in the league, the MVP of the league. So for Patrick Mahomes to go in there and throw like that, not so good.
Yeah. Yeah. What did you think, though, of Jimmy G going into the Super Bowl? Because me personally, I had no faith in him. The reason I had the Chiefs winning decently, easily, is because I literally had no faith in Jimmy G, even though he led them to a good record, 13-3, I believe.
Yeah.
I didn't believe that he had what it took to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Well, where did Jimmy G come from?
He came from the Patriots.
Patriots. Under who?
Under Belichick.
And Tom Brady.
And Brady.
Listen. I think people weren't giving him enough credit. I have said this beforehand. I don't think he's going to be like this all-time great quarterback. Okay,
Jimmy?
I don't know if he'll be that.
I don't think he will be either.
I don't think he will be. Now, going into the Super Bowl, people were talking about, Jimmy G, they're going to get trashed. I didn't think that. Jimmy G has been in those games before. Give or take, he didn't play, but he's been in those games.
I mean,
and he's led his team.
Matters.
Yeah, and we saw that at the end because we saw that Patrick Mahomes in the fourth quarter came back and played really well. But when you get into how Jimmy G played in the pocket under pressure, he folded in the fourth quarter, and I think that shows big time. I think it shows. But I will say, I think people underestimated Jimmy G. But do I think they'll be back? Oh, I don't know. I don't know if he's that type of quarterback.
The 49ers?
Yeah. I don't know if he's that. I think they may even look to trade him potentially. Another talk for another day, but I think they may.
Actually, what I found really interesting, and I heard this a couple weeks ago, was that the 49ers, I don't know if it was official that they were exploring it, but that it was thought that perhaps that they would go after Brady.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about. I had heard that. That would be a great pickup.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, though, how embarrassing. I don't know if the word's embarrassing. How terrible would it be to be Jimmy G traded away from the Patriots because you have Brady, and then you're like, okay, I finally got a chance. This is my team. And then you actually did a good job. You led them to a 13-3 season to the Super Bowl. You led them to the Super Bowl.
Season.
Yet still, we're going to drop him for Tom.
Well, no, think about this. At the end of the day, they could make a trade back for Brady, and Garoppolo could end up back with the Patriots. Keep in mind, Bill Belichick loves Jimmy G. Yeah. He wanted to get rid of Tom Brady a couple years ago,
which is interesting.
And I think Robert Kraft kept Tom Brady and said, "See you, Jimmy G," because Robert Kraft loves Brady. Well, so I think even in this offseason, that's the big question, right? Mm-hmm. Will Robert Kraft force Bill Belichick to keep Brady? But at the end of the day, Garoppolo's a good quarterback. he'd be a solid pickup for a lot of teams, but do I think he's the guy? Do I think he's like a Patty Mahomes or a Lamar Jackson? Not at all. No.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know this isn't what we're talking about, but did you hear – I actually know you heard this because we talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
About the Cowboys and Tom Brady.
Yeah, I think that, to me, that is the more interesting trade here, because the Cowboys next would be on the line.
Yes.
I mean, big time.
And we're already somewhat on the I'm a Cowboys fan. Austin's a Cowboys fan.
Huge Cowboys fan.
We're both Cowboys fans, so we want to see them succeed, yet we've been underperforming for the talent we have.
Absolutely. Well, and I think me and you two have different opinions on this specific topic, because I think as the Cowboys, if you can get Tom Brady, I think he's got 1 to 2 really top-notch seasons left. And I think if you could get Brady and get to a championship, it would be worth the trade. I mean, would you sacrifice Dak Prescott for 1 championship in the next 2 years?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I would.
You would. And I think with the talent you have, it's possible. And keep in mind, Brady will sign for less money. Mm-hmm. Now, he wants a bigger deal, but Tom Brady, the biggest deal he's ever had was $23 million. You could offer him 33, save some of your cap space, and keep some good guys on.
You see
what I'm saying? With
as
a new
opposed
coach.
To having to pay Dak.
Exactly.
Pay Dak more than that.
Well, and then you could get something for Dak, too, by sending him to another team. So you could really look to stack. Well, I guess Dak's in free agency, so never mind. You couldn't do that. But if you lose Dak and you pull in a Brady, to me, it's not that huge of a loss, because I truly believe Brady's got a couple of good years left in him. Mm-hmm. But I will say, if they trade him and it doesn't work in the next 2 years, the Cowboys will be looking at a complete restart at the QB spot. They're looking at drafting somebody else or picking up a
if they
a
get
trade
Brady.
That's an average trade.
You're saying if the Cowboys get Brady?
If they get Brady and then it doesn't work, I don't know.
Do you
if
think it
it'll be
wouldn't
that
work though?
I think it would work. That's why I'm a fan of it.
Well,
I think
the Cowboys have
I
just
love
about
Dak
everything
too,
you
but-
need. Just about everything you need. We have a line.
Well, and Tom Brady needs a line. He needs to be able to stand in the pocket.
And we have a line.
We do.
We have a great defense.
Absolutely.
We've had a
the defense
slightly
was kind of
sliding
rocky
defense.
this last year, but
It's slightly sliding, but we have defensive players who can be good.
Mhm.
We have an amazing receiving core,
yeah,
and we have Zeke.
absolutely. Defense has got to get healthy though.
Yes, that's true.
Van Der Esch and all of them with their injuries, they got to get healthy.
Yeah. I don't know. Sorry, I didn't want to go too far off the topic, but knowing that we're both Cowboys fans, I just had to
Explore
bring
it a
that
little
up.
bit.
Yeah, I want to see them win so badly.
No, but I mean, hey, so I got some interesting stats for you here on Mahomes.
Love stats.
All right, so Mahomes was pressured on 20 out of his 49 dropbacks in the game, okay? But the Chiefs averaged over 7 yards per play on all of those said dropbacks.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually double the NFL average this season. So even without being at his best, Patrick Mahomes was impressive at the end of the game. Under pressure, being rushed, in the pocket, the man produced double of what the NFL would on yards per play. Very impressive.
That's interesting.
That's very impressive. And then you got to keep in mind, too.
Keep in mind that same pressure is what caused him to throw 2 interceptions.
Absolutely.
In a playoff run where he threw 0.
Absolutely. Well, and that's incredible. Let's not forget that. Patrick Mahomes has played absolutely incredible all year.
Right. So any minor slip-up, we're going to call him out for.
Absolutely. Well, and he's the MVP, too. There's a lot of pressure riding on him. And I kind of expected a little bit, not to the degree of which he actually ended up performing, but I thought he would play a little bit below standard until it really mattered. And I think we saw that. But at the same time, Jimmy G completed just 1 of his 9 attempts under pressure for 20 yards and 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
That's at the end of the game, man. That's when it matters. All you got to do is get that next first down, and they couldn't do it. And on top of it, why are you throwing the ball? Run the dang ball if you're the 49ers, man. What are you doing?
See, that's another lack of faith in Jimmy kind of thing.
Absolutely. Lack of faith in Jimmy for not running the ball?
No, saying we should not throw the ball.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't have faith in Jimmy G, but I think you saw Shanahan definitely said, I have
clear.
faith in Jimmy
It was
G.
clear that Shanahan how he felt about that situation.
Well, and keep in mind, too, when we go back to even the receivers that Patty Mahomes has, if you really think about it, Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, both of whom made a number of really big plays, especially down the stretch, Tyreek Hill on that huge third down, catches the ball for the first, incredible play. But they both combined for 15 receptions for nearly 150 receiving yards. Okay, so that's pretty impressive alone. But here's the marquee player of this whole game. Okay, Sammy Watkins. He brought in 5 receptions for 98 yards.
98 yards.
But get this, 4 of those were for first downs.
Wow. That's
4 of
impressive. I didn't know that.
4 of them for first downs. Those receivers covered Patty Mahomes until that very end of the game. And even then, you saw some really impressive running even from Damian Williams.
One of my takeaways from this game was that the Chiefs need to hold on to Sammy Watkins. Given that they're about to have to pay Patty huge, they're have to pay him so much money. They're not going to be able to hold on to everything. But Sammy, I think, is one of those players that they should try to hold on to. And what's interesting is that he actually said earlier he was considering taking a year off. I don't know if you had heard that.
Yeah,
he was considering taking a year off. Then after the Super Bowl, he said, well, maybe I won't take a year off. And that's probably just because he was on a Super Bowl high. I just won the entire world over. But it's going to be interesting to see what he decides to do.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think too. I think another thing we got to watch out for too is you see that Tyreek Hill, and I know this is a little off topic, but it's kind of cool. I think he should do it. Tyreek Hill is considering trying out for the Olympic team.
No.
Did you see that?
No.
Yes, he said he's considering about doing track, and the reason being, did you know his track times in high school would have placed him 3rd place overall in the Olympic Games?
That's insane.
Yeah. 3rd place overall. It was either 3rd or 2nd. But that's incredible, man. That's incredible speed. He's way faster now. He could compete for a gold medal. And he talked about maybe potentially going ahead and instead of this offseason, instead of continuing football to try to go for 2 feet, going and trying out for the Olympics and trying to get an Olympic medal. Which, come on, man, that'd be pretty cool.
That's cool, but
come on, Tyreek, that'd be cool.
An Olympic medal over a Super Bowl ring?
He's already got a Super Bowl ring.
You can get another one.
He could, and I think the Chiefs will be back next year too, 100%.
Okay, on that note, I want to bring something up. I noticed throughout this whole conversation, you've been referring to Patty as the MVP. You didn't perform up to MVP standards, but there's a new MVP. There is a new MVP, and his name is Lamar Jackson. And this guy, is better than Patty. He's better than Patty.
You think?
Yeah.
You think he's better than Patty?
He's better than Patty. I know we've had this conversation once before.
Yeah.
And we were talking about who we would start our franchise with.
Yeah.
Who did you pick?
Definitely Patty Mahomes.
See, I feel like that's dumb because why is it a definitely? Now, keep in mind, you can't have a bad choice here. They're both amazing quarterbacks. Yeah. But why is it a definitely Patty Mahomes?
Okay, so number one, when you're picking somebody, it's 50-50. There's no in between. So you're either in or you're out on a player.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sold on Patty Mahomes. Now, keep in mind, Lamar Jackson has great qualities. I'm not bashing Lamar Jackson. I actually love Lamar Jackson. I thought he was actually going to win MVP up until a certain point.
It was so clear to me.
He is so athletically talented. Dude can run the ball. But if I had to start one of those guys, I am taking Patty Mahomes. He's a better thrower. Lamar Jackson can run better, by far. That's not even questionable. But at the same time, Patty Mahomes has enough feet and enough legs to get out of the pocket, which is kind of the point of running the ball.
Yeah.
Now, we also have to keep in mind, the more contact you make at the quarterback position, the less years you're going to get out of somebody.
That's true.
Lamar Jackson's taken a lot of hits this year, and if he continues to run the ball, it's the same problem like with Michael Vick. You're going to take a lot of hits. Eventually, those hits are going to wear down your body. Patty Mahomes is going to take hits, but not as many as Lamar Jackson. And so from that perspective, I'm looking at a more longevity with Patty Mahomes. And I think overall, Patty Mahomes' IQ is really smart. They're both great leaders. Yeah. I think I have high IQs, but I'm taking Patty Mahomes any day. And I think even with the Super Bowl, I think that kind of shows Patty Mahomes will win those tough games. He can come back from behind and lead a team and inspire people.
He was down by 10 in all of the playoff games.
Absolutely, which is that's like unheard of, man. Like that doesn't happen. And I think his ability to lead a team and to get them on the same page and to get them rallied back to win those big games and big time moments, I think that's the marquee of a good quarterback. Like your job is to win, and Patty Mahomes won this year.
So let's talk about
I would
winning.
take him.
Let's talk about winning. The Chiefs' record was 12-4.
Yeah.
The Ravens' record, 14-2.
Okay.
Who won more games?
Who won the important games?
I know that the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, and
Who won the important games?
I truly believe that the Ravens honestly should have made it further than they did. I would have loved to see a Patty versus Lamar matchup. That would have been insane.
That would have been nice. I was actually hoping that's what it would be.
But I understand your argument for longevity. it's important. You need to be
Well,
able to
and
play
he's a better
yours.
passer by far.
Well,
and I'm a
hey,
passing
no,
guy. Like, I'm
okay,
not trying to
sure.
run the ball.
Okay, you're a passing guy, so I have a stat for you.
Okay.
I have a stat for you. This season, Patrick's completion percentage, 65.9. That's impressive.
Yeah, no, by far.
Lamar's passing percentage, 66.1. Higher.
Also impressive.
Higher than Patrick's. So, while Patrick did throw for more yards, we can know that Lamar can throw. He can throw. He can throw it accurately.
And he'll get better this offseason as well.
So even though those are marginally different, they are. It's not like in my opinion, Patrick is not an 1,000 times better thrower
of the
of the
football.
ball
Okay.
because Lamar can throw it. That being said, you know what he is 1,000 times better at? Lamar is so much better at running the ball.
Absolutely.
Lamar ran for 1,206 rushing yards.
Yeah.
Almost 81 yards a game, while Mahomes ran for 218 this season.
Let me ask you a question.
That's almost 1,000 difference.
Who's the running back for the
1,000
Rams?
yards.
I mean, who's the running back for the Ravens?
It doesn't matter because it's basically Lamar.
My point, it's Lamar. You're asking that man to play running back and quarterback.
And he's doing it.
He's
doing it at an MVP level.
But his longevity ain't going to be there. And it doesn't make him
With the new NFL rules,
it doesn't make him
with
a
the new
straight up.
NFL rules, you don't need to. You can take hits because they can't even hurt you that bad. There's reasons players are playing longer. And
I
longer
don't
and
know,
longer.
man.
Yeah,
Patrick
you can take
Mahomes
a
got
hit.
nailed
You
there
can
in
take a
the
couple
Super
hits. You
Bowl.
can take
I
a
mean,
couple hits,
you could
but-
take some hits and get away with it. Now, like I said, I'm still going to choose Patty Mahomes over that. I like Patty Mahomes' IQ. I like his leadership ability better. I like his general offensive mind better. And keep in mind, they both have really good fits too, coaching-wise and everything. So ultimately, you have to surround them with the right people for them. And I think if you can surround Patty Mahomes with the people and the places and the positions that he needs, I think Patty Mahomes would beat Lamar in a head-up matchup every time. But I also, one of the things you mentioned earlier, you said that Lamar Jackson is better than Patty Mahomes. Why? Because he runs the football.
Because he can run the football.
Can run the football.
At an insane level. Absolutely
he can. But my main pushback to that is you want your quarterback running like every single play. Like are you looking for him to be the running back of the team?
But he can though.
Even if he can, do you want him to be the running back of the team?
If he's
workhorse.
winning me 14 games a season, yeah.
Yeah, okay, 14 games a season. Keep in mind, how many games was Patty Mahomes out?
He was out a couple
Injury.
games.
Okay, thank you very much. There's your 2 losses. Same record, I think, if Patty Mahomes doesn't get hurt.
You know what?
I mean, come on, man. Like, the dude, they're not looking at that many different records. And who won the big games? Who won the big games? That's the real question.
The only way
Patty
we're going to see
Mahomes.
this, the only way we're going to see this and get to the end is next year when we actually see them match up. And we're going to see because Lamar will run the crap out of the Chiefs.
You think so?
They won't stop him.
No.
Because no one can stop him.
I don't know about
He's
that,
a video
man.
game.
I think people, the more and more they see Lamar Jackson run, the more and more they'll be able to plan for him. But hold on. Lamar Jackson's so skilled. I think he's going to be one of those guys that even if you plan for him, he's going to be stupid hard to stop. Like it's going to be almost impossible. So I think it's just about minimizing him. And keep in mind, when Patty Mahomes is really firing, it's a shootout. Who can score more points?
It is a shootout.
And I would take Patty Mahomes' offense any day over that. And Baltimore's defense, like, are you saying they're going to stop the Chiefs?
If you gave Lamar and Patrick the exact same team, but
they don't have the exact same team is what I'm saying, though.
Well, okay, so in a team,
that's why in that game I'm
going
to take the Chiefs any day.
The Chiefs may win, but if you gave them the exact same team, who's winning that game?
The exact same team?
Exact same team, but
Patty
different
Mahomes.
quarterback. No, what the?
Patty Mahomes will win that. Absolutely.
No.
Yes. I would take him every time.
I'm super excited to see that matchup next year. We got to put
It'll
a
be
bet or something on that. But I do need to go ahead and move on to the trade deadline, something super interesting happening in the NBA. A lot of things happened that we did not expect to happen necessarily. It wasn't the biggest trade deadline we've ever seen. It didn't have the sexiest moves.
Not at all.
But some interesting ones though.
Yeah.
So do you remember last week when we played Next Man Up?
Yes, I do.
I'm going to do another rendition of the Next Man Up, and you guys probably remember how that went. So our first man up, this one hurts my heart a little bit. Marcus Morris went from the Knicks to the Clippers. And the reason it hurts my heart is because I feel like we didn't get enough back. We got pretty much a bag of cheese for him. And the Clippers honestly got significantly better. Keep in mind, Marcus Morris was a 23-plus points per game scorer. He can shoot threes. He can shoot over 40% from three. I'm really impressed with what he was able to do for the Knicks, but now he's on the Clippers. And the thing is, he's like a tough guy, right? He's a good defender. And now you have Paul George, Kawhi, and not that he's on the same level, but also Marcus Morris. That's another guy you can throw at LeBron to guard him.
Yeah, I mean, the Knicks didn't really get anything, I don't think, from that trade. From that trade. And I think you're absolutely correct on your assumption here. I do believe that was probably a pretty good pickup for the Clippers. They need somebody that can add what Morris can add, and I think that's a good thing.
And there's been a big question to whether who's going to guard Anthony Davis on the Clippers, because no one really can. Marcus Morris is probably the closest thing they have. He's a little bit bigger. I'm not saying he's going to stop Anthony Davis, because Anthony Davis is a beast. No. But he's probably the closest thing that they have that can guard him.
But keep in mind, he's 30 years old, so he's kind of in his prime.
Yeah,
I guess is a good way to say that.
Towards
the end. But he's averaging a career best 19.6 points. So to add another guy that can really score but also can play some defense down low is going to be a good addition to the Clippers. And it's going to make the Lakers' chances of winning much, much, much more difficult. As much as I like the Lakers this year,
I wanted to see the Lakers do something,
worse.
But they didn't do anything. One thing actually, going into the Lakers, they didn't make any moves at the trade deadline, but they have a couple of things coming up that might be interesting. The first one, Darren Collison, retired prematurely in most people's minds because he was playing at a decent level. Ball handler, he's doing good for Indiana.
Yeah.
And then they also want to do a workout with Dion Waiters.
That'd be interesting.
Which guy would you rather see on the Lakers squad?
Dion Waiters.
Why?
I like Dion Waiters. He's got a lot of size to him for being a smaller guy. Very, very strong. I think he'll bring some defense to them. And we saw with the Thunder, too, back when they did blow the 3-1 lead. Dion Waiters, he was on that team, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Dion Waiters was a guy that night in, night out, you're not looking at 30 points from Dion Waiters. You're not looking at a triple-double. You're not looking at a double-double. But you're looking at somebody that's going to come in and night out and is going to be consistent for you and consistently have the same consistent demeanor, if that makes sense. He's going to consistently be the guy that is going to show up night in, night out and work his butt off for the team. And I think that would be a good addition, honestly. I mean, everybody needs that.
This is going to be one topic that we disagree on. It's not that I don't think Dion Waiters could bring something to that team, but what the Lakers actually need is Darren Collison. They need someone that can run an offense, not just an ISO scorer like Dion Waiters who needs to have the ball and do whatever he does. Darren Collison can run an offense. Darren Collison is a three-point shooter. He was shooting over 40% when he left the league, and I'm sure he's been working out and still playing ball. So I think Darren Collison would fit a lot of the holes that the Lakers have, because with Rajon Rondo running that second unit, they've been terrible.
Well, I don't think the problem is necessarily running the offense. LeBron's going to run that offense.
Well, what about when LeBron's on the floor? They're winning when LeBron's on the floor.
Oh, absolutely.
When LeBron steps off, they crash like a tamale.
And absolutely. But keep in mind, what the Lakers need more than anything, shooting. They need somebody that can catch and shoot.
Darren Collison can shoot it.
Well, Dion Waiters can shoot it.
Yeah, but now, so
when he's open, he shoots the ball.
So they can both shoot it, but who can actually run a second unit? Keep in mind, the Lakers' first unit is solid. They have perimeter defense with Danny and KCP. They have lockdown.
They need
paint
some
defense with
depth
JaVale.
though, but they need consistency in their depth, and that's why I think going with someone that's a little bit older, a little bit more experienced, that's going to produce every single night for you is going to be what the Lakers need. That, and they need Kuzma to score the dang basketball.
That's true.
Shoot
Kuzma needs to play.
Kuzma, quit shooting the ball with 4 people on you in transition.
I agree.
Shoot the catch and shoot one, man. What are you doing?
Hey, but
he'll get traded when he's on though. He had 3 points last night.
Well, they didn't want to trade him. The Lakers actually could have gotten Marcus Morris from the Knicks if they were willing to give up Kuzma, but they weren't.
And I think should have.
I feel like maybe they should have too.
I think they should. Well, keep in mind, Marcus Morris has shot 43.9% from three-point range,
crazy.
including 46% on catch and shoot. Hold up. They don't need somebody to go to the lane and clog it up. They need someone to shoot the ball. And you're talking about a bigger man that can shoot the dang basketball. Morris, I think they should have gotten rid of Kuzma.
I feel like maybe part of that.
You know,
I feel like maybe part of that was them thinking LeBron doesn't have that much time left. We want to have some young pieces.
Of course,
possibly.
of course they think that.
But anyway, I want to get to the next man up, and this is a really interesting one. Robert Covington was sent to the Rockets, and it was a multiple team trade. But Clint Capela was sent to the Hawks. What do you think about those two? I'm honestly more interested in what you think about Clint Capela on the Hawks.
Clint Capela on the Hawks. I like Clint Capela, by the way. I think he's an interesting piece. Obviously, he's not going to be your go-to guy, but when you add him in with Trey, I'm curious to see what he's going to do. With the Rockets, Clint was kind of the guy that would put up some points every night, but he was more so a good rebounder.
10 points, 12 rebounds.
Yeah, he's a good rebounder. He's a big body, and I think with a shooter like Trey, the more that you can have him shoot the ball, I think the better. The more you give him a chance to run the offense, another body to run a pick and roll with, somebody to put it down low that will give you those points a night. I think it'll be a good pickup for them. I think it was a smart pickup for them, especially with the years left on Trey's contract. Good pickup. They still need a lot of pieces to be a contender, though.
Oh, they
need
a
lot of pieces.
They're young. They're way too young.
A lot of pieces they need. But I will say the Rockets, I think they're the same case as the Heat. Did they get any better? No. I think they got better in some aspects, but they also lost in a lot of aspects there too. So I feel like they're just different in a new way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's kind of changed a little bit. It's a newer look, so it feels good. But the Rockets do that. Like every trade deadline, every offseason, they're always moving big pieces around and not giving their team time to gel and mesh and really try to form something over a period of time. So I'm not bought into the Rockets at this point being anything special, even though they beat the Lakers the other night. Not into it. I don't buy it.
Yeah. I pretty much mostly agree with you. I'm excited to see Clint Capela on the Hawks, giving someone Trey a good guy to do a pick and roll with. He can throw lobs to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Clint Capela's a great lob finisher. He'll be able to put up more shots, like you said, because Clint Capela's down there grabbing rebounds.
Yeah,
doesn't need to
they'll
worry
have to defend
as
Clint.
much. Yep. They'll need to box Clint out and actually have a guy in the post as opposed to whoever they had running at center before, a no-name, whoever it was. No disrespect. I say that a lot.
No disrespect.
I'll completely diss a guy.
No name.
Some
no
guy
disrespect.
didn't get any playing time. No name guy. No disrespect. But no, but that's interesting. Daryl Morey from the Rockets. I think he's a really interesting guy. The way he goes about making moves. And I think this was another. He just sent up a prayer. He was like, well, we've had a somewhat championship contender for a few years now, and we're not winning. We kind of win, but we don't fully win. So what can I give up? I'm not giving up James Harden, obviously. The Westbrook experiment is still going on, so I'm not giving that up. My next biggest piece, Clint Capela. So
well, and they're trying out that small ball lineup because statistics do show that your small ball lineups are more efficient than if you have a big man in the paint. It's kind of like when you're the way I heard it described was it's kind of like in Little League. You know, you got the tall kid, and all the parents, everybody just throw it into the tall kid, right? And so what do? They throw it in, and the tall kid hits some, the tall kid misses some, but you completely stop the offensive flow, right? There's no motion. Everybody's just trying to get into the big man. And so what they found statistically is that when you take out that big man, it really forces people to move the ball. Also, hence why the Warriors were so successful that first championship year with Steph and Clay and Draymond. Draymond's, I know he's a little big, but he's not that big.
Yeah.
And so they were able to move the ball and really get out on teams. I think they're trying to do that here, but the problem is you got two guys with high ball consumption, and it opened up the lane for Westbrook. I mean, they looked really good against the Lakers in the lane. I mean, dude was running, throwing it down. But keep in mind, over a period of time, if you get on people with big teams, big bodies, they're going to body you up possession after possession. I mean, you're going to fill their bodies in a 7-game series. I don't think the Rockets win.
Yeah. This one's not the next man up. I just want to briefly mention Drummond to the Cavs was interesting because he got traded to a terrible team and like I feel like he's gonna end up wasting a little bit of career there and wherever he goes after that, that's when we'll have something to talk about. But the actual next man up and the question I have, Wiggins to the Warriors, D'Lo to the Timberwolves. Which team got better than the other team?
at the moment? Like
No,
right
not
now
which
this
team
season.
is better. Which team got
Okay,
better?
I was about to say, because if that's the case, I think D'Lo makes them better this season by far. I mean, they're already better, but I think the D'Lo trade will be very nice. Going into next season, everybody knows Warriors are coming
Whatever.
back.
Whatever.
And I think the Wiggins trade is nice for this reason. What kind of player did they need? They got a point guard. They got a shooting guard. They got Draymond at power forward. You can draft a center. Who do they not have? They don't have a small forward. What does Andrew Wiggins do? Small forward. He is not going to be the best guy on that team. He's not. I'm not claiming that. But that's a good, solid pickup. He's younger. He gives them time to be mentored under these guys for the rest of the season. I think it's not a bad pickup, and I think that's what they're thinking. I think that's what the Warriors are thinking. If we can pick up a solid, younger guy, he's got some experience in leading the team. He's long and lanky. He gives us that ability to shoot. He's very athletic. We're going to add him to the team. We're going to mentor him, coach him up for the rest of the year. And then coming into next year, I'm going to have a fresh Steph, a fresh Clay. Draymond's going to be rested. I'm going to have Andrew Wiggins, and then hopefully a pretty good first-round draft pick to add down low.
Yeah. Let me tell you why you're wrong. Do you remember when Jimmy Butler was on the Timberwolves? And there was a very distinct reason he loved leaving. And the reason was because nobody on the Timberwolves has any work ethic. Karl Anthony Towns, including
I do remember that. Yeah.
Andrew Wiggins, no work ethic. Now, what are the Warriors about? The Warriors are about professionalism, winning, very
work ethic.
straightforward. Yeah,
get
work
it done.
ethic. They
Get
get it
in the
done,
gym.
and they're winners. And they like to have a good time while they do it, but they're winners. Andrew Wiggins does not fit with the culture of Golden State. Is he a somewhat skilled player? Yeah. Is he an all-star? No. But he's not going to fit with that culture, and truthfully, I think it'll end up causing locker room problems.
Really?
Someone like Draymond, who plays hard, has a similar mindset to someone like Jimmy, someone who plays hard.
Yeah.
So when Draymond is out there in the middle of the season, next season, or even this season, yelling at Wiggins because he's frustrated about everything he's doing, not having a good diet, not working out with the team, not putting up shots, he's just living his NBA
best
player
life.
celebrity life. I think it's going to be apparent that this was not the best move for the Warriors. I honestly think they probably could have gotten more for D'Lo.
I
D'Lo's
agree,
a
though.
better player.
I agree. I think, like I said, if it comes down player to player, the Warriors lost. I love D'Lo. I think they could have gotten more for D'Lo. Here's where I'm going to push back, though, a little bit on what you just said. Okay? You're looking at Draymond, Steph, and Clay, who know what it takes to win a championship. When Andrew Wiggins got to the league, who was his mentor? There wasn't anybody. That's what I'm saying. There was no one in Minnesota to help him. He had to learn this process by himself. And then you have Jimmy Butler, which, by the way, we all know is very abrasive. Like the dude just gets in there.
He'll get at you.
Oh yeah. Well, and if that's your first time experiencing like actual high level play in the league, you're probably gonna have some problems, especially when you thought it was your team. Right? Does that kind of make sense? So I think going to Golden State, he knows it's not his team. He knows his role. They're gonna make it very clear. And I think when you talk about the diet, not getting in the gym, I think they'll change that. I think he'll adapt well to that culture because he's also going to a championship culture. He's going to have players that mentor him. He's going to know his role from the get-go, and he's not going to have to be the quote-unquote one of the stars of the teams and have to figure that whole process out by himself. Right. And so I think he'll take full advantage of that. So I'm not worried about that aspect.
Yeah. A lot of times based on history of NBA trades, the team that got the best player, no matter how much they give up, the team that got the best player usually ends up winning. And let's just go by what we think like their 2K ratings are, right? D'Lo's probably, an 87?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. 87 through 89, something right in there.
Wiggins
I don't really
is
know.
83?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for
okay.
sure.
So D'Lo's the better player in both of our opinions.
100%.
And usually...
better shooter, higher IQ, leads the team better.
This ends up being the team that wins. It's going to be exciting to see him pair up with Karl Anthony Towns, see what they can do, see if they can put something together in Minnesota that makes them...
a contender?
Not necessarily a contender, but at least a good playoff team.
You think so?
I would love to see that happen. I don't think that will happen.
Well, D'Lo was pretty excited about going to play with Cat.
I know he is.
He's excited.
But obviously, that's the mindset you should have. You should never be like, "Oh, I got traded. Now I gotta play with this guy.
I gotta go play with Cat. This is awful.
Not even a dog is a cat." Okay. Anyways,
that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard you say. He's not a dog. He's a cat.
Yeah. But the NBA trade deadline, man, that was really interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see the rest of the season and how that ends up affecting these teams. Again, I will implement the Bucks will still end up winning this even though they made no moves.
Really?
Yeah, and we don't have time to talk about that because
Really?
we're coming up
against
on our
the
end
stacked
right here.
Western Conference. Whatever, man.
All right.
Don't agree.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening. That was the JohnCast episode 2. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at the JohnCast and on Twitter for sports updates and opinions at the JohnCast1.